Caster's Couch live. Caster's Couch. Okay. Okay. Let's watch this. Delve the Bjergsen the GOAT. Pros versus streamers. Let's see it.
Peter, Yumi being an untargetable enchanter. I hate my life when I have to play against that.
They won one game. One game against Gam, bro. You literally won 0 games.
We gathered 6 individuals from the League of Legends scene to discuss contentious topics surrounding League of Legends and League of Legends esports.
Hi, my name is Pika.
Hello, I'm Raz.
My name is Mayumi.
My name is CoreJJ.
My name is Emily Rand.
I'm Drew. I'm an Emerald player. I have been playing since 2016.
I'm a pro player. I've been playing League for 10 years.
I've been playing League of Legends since 2012.
Also known as World
I've been playing since 2009, unironically.
Champion.
I used to be a coach and caster for the LPL.
I was previously a professional player, and nowadays I'm a content creator for Team Liquid.
Welcome to All Chat. North America imports too much.
Yeah.
For me, it's a little bit sad thing that if teams are
CoreJJ sits down, bro. He's like, yeah, I'm a fucking fraud at this point.
bringing the random import from
Oh, it's back.
SK Academy or something, those guys are actually not bad in lane. In general, they're not losing the game in lane because their fundamental skill is like fairly high. Their low is very like high. So I think teams are taking more like convenience way instead of like gambling on the like NA talent. I think there must be some NA talent, but because they're not playing in a like more competitive solo queue environment, they are not ready for the ACS level unless they are the super rookie like Palafox. Like for example, Palafox, he was the best mid laner in the academy scene, and then even he was like didn't have an amazing start in the first ACS. Like growing the players.
Yeah, he was bad for a while, bro. That first FlyQuest roster, god damn, that was tough.
Very hard thing. I understand because like every year is changed, but team was like less patient, especially because of the VO1 as well.
I mean, I think this one's fairly straightforward. I think the 2 imports per team rule is not really bad per se, but I just feel like the way teams approach importing in general is just very poor. They don't really think as a long-term vision, okay, we're gonna bring this good player is gonna help us develop like, the system, the region and whatnot. But I feel like most teams import to just get like look for a quick win, in which I feel like is really unhealthy and it actually harms the ecosystem where like these players come in, right? They take up a spot and then they leave after a year. So that experience could have been to a native player which is gonna stay in the region, right? With that experience, and that's gonna translate, that's gonna trickle down. I think with the way teams are approaching imports today, it's just unhealthy.
Yeah, I would even say also from a fan perspective too. Like if you were putting, let's say a player comes over for a year.
It depends on the import, Like the thing is that a lot of the imports that came over were like, they're not imports like where they have like big personalities and they have like good English. Like they're people that are like really reserved, really quiet. Like no one wants to be like a huge, like for example, Crown. Like Crown was like a world champion. He's a world champion and they didn't make any content with him. He wasn't somebody who brought a lot of fans to the region. It was just like, he was here, and then people that were fans of him try to forget the period where he was here.
And then like you get a lot of players, a lot of North American fans to care a lot about this guy. And then he leaves. All of that traction that you got with that fan base and all of that like love that you were able to harness in the audience just goes away. It may follow them to another league, but like it doesn't stay in the LCS.
So like, at least I would say, those are the imports that I'm fine with. Because I think, so the scouting has picked up a player that's really talented, that wants to be here and is like doing content and everything, like really passionate about staying here for however long their career takes them. Thumbs up, that works for me. But the scouting where you're like, okay, so this team just picked up like a 10th place player from the LEC that everybody has no faith in.
Okay, so just say it, bro. You just picked up Blue, bro. We imported Blue. We imported Armut. We imported Blue and fucking Armut. Are we kidding? And Balulu. Ain't no fucking way, bro.
Like, I think most of my concerns are on certain teams that have zero scouting. Like, they see one person or one team successfully, they get a player from LCK Challengers, and like it turns into a Berserker, and he's like so fucking good. And they're like, okay, we need to replicate that, but you've done no effort to research them. And in that really sucks. And that makes it so, like, at least fans can't trust, like, the next import that's coming in that is really good at what they do, that is also, like, really interested in, like, staying and making a career in North America because of other teams that are just, like, firing shots, like, every split.
And I feel that's really bad for the scene, too, because part of the fan base, like, they're players that play, like, amateurs or, like, in academy that wants to play in LCS and wants to pursue a career as a pro player and won't have the chance because the team is like importing people from outside that are not as good. But like, yeah, some people just like give up on this career because they think, oh, the team is just going to import someone better, so I'm just going to lose the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely players that have had talent that you just feel like never would get a shot, like Copy, for example.
I think the big thing for me is the scouting done both for players coming in and then also for players in the North American player base as a whole. Because the thing you can't ignore is that our solo queue is worse here, right? Like, I don't think anyone here would disagree with that statement, which means that if you're coming up in North American solo queue, you're not going to learn certain things as intuitively or as an initial response.
The thing is, I feel like the solo queue being bad is like kind of cope. Like it is not a great solo queue, but if you're not playing dude, if you're not able to grind challenger games, if you're not challenger as somebody who's playing in LCS, you can't complain about the solo queue. You can't like not grind to the highest tier and then be like, the solo queue is so shit anyway. Like, yeah, I think our master and our grandmaster is pretty fucking bad. But if you play like the full challenger games with mainly pro players at like 6 p.m. until midnight, the solo queue is not that bad, bro. The solo queue is literally not that bad. Like, I got in some good fucking games. It was cancerous to grind to challenger for me. But once I got into challenger, like, I would get in some good fucking games where I'm like, all right, 7 out of the 10 people are pro players. And that's really what you're looking for in solo queue. You're looking for the majority pro player games where everyone knows what the fuck is going on and you don't have just some random one trick that is completely on a different level of game knowledge than everyone else. So it's bad, but it's not close to as bad as they make it seem.
When you get to the same level in solo queue, like obviously someone who reaches top rank in Korean Challenger is going to just generally know more about how the game is played than someone who reaches it here. But the thing that's been really frustrating for me to watch that ties into all of this is the lack of
It's still way worse than EU and Korea. I don't think it's way worse than EU. I think the problem is that like the difference is that EU, you can get better games at more hours of the day than you can in North America. That's the main thing I would say is that when you play high rank, like NA solo queue, you've got like 6-7 hours when all the pros are playing. Like, you're just going to be playing against each other. If you're all at the top rank, if you have 40 players that are in LCS and they are all at the absolute top rank, and then you have like the other players like Quad, for example, you have the other imports that are in the academy system. That's already 50-60 players that are all playing at the same time. You can get all those guys matched against each other, and those are the good games. The difference is that like you can queue up, at least my experience, because I was challenger in EU in season 9. The difference was that you could queue up at like 9-10 a.m. You could get way higher quality games. So if you wanted to like queue all day for like 24 hours, you queued 24 hours, you could get better quality games for most of the day. But for the players that are in LCS that are here, they're all on the same schedule. Like, they can just play solo queue, and if they're all the top ranks, which they should be, they should all be playing against each other on repeat, and they're going to be getting good quality games.
To accept that that is the case, and then actually give a player the grace and time to develop. You already can see several examples in the LCS currently of players who actually were given the time and have improved into really good players. I think Palafox is probably the one that people would point to the most because his initial LCS outing on FlyQuest was really bad. But I think it's really unfortunate that a lot of orgs don't actually spend the time to A, grow and develop their own native players, and B, also just do better scouting across the board, both in NA, and then if you're bringing a player in from South Korea, from Europe, from China, wherever.
The League of Legends community is more positive than people realize.
Fuck no.
All right, I'm gonna do one of these where it's like, can I like squat by the like half sitting?
Yeah.
It's a yes or no. You can't be squatting.
Because like, okay, so I'll explain, I guess. Okay. Because I'll sit down, but like I don't necessarily agree with it. I think
I'll sit down too. I half agree.
I think as like a monolith, or when you go on community boards, you see a lot of complaining. And then that in turn snowballs even more complaining, because you'll see someone being like, man, I just played against like this champ and it sucked. And I'll be like, hey, I played against that champ in my solo queue game. It sucked. That was a terrible experience. I'm going to agree with this person. I think that happens a lot in like larger community forums. But I think sometimes when you get down to smaller pockets of people you play with, like the friends I play with or the friends I've met through League of Legends, that is a very positive experience. Like even if we are all raging in comms at the other team to each other, that's like a very fun experience to have, I guess. And comes
Oh,
with
absolutely. See, the thing is, like, okay, this is the take, bro. The thing that's more, the thing that shows positivity is when I'm flaming an LCS player and an LEC player, and my whole chat is also getting enjoyment. You know, like if you think about this, right? Think about the good in the world. I flame an LCS player to my chat. 10,000 people are happy. One person is sad. How is that not a net positive?
just playing a competitive video game. So that's why I kind of like half sat, because I think in smaller pockets, people can really find like community.
So the expectation from people outside of the League of Legends community is always like, oh, you play League, huh? like, oh, the most hateful community of all time. Like they'll list a bunch of things about it that's negative. But for me, like I'm a Twitch gremlin. So for me, it's like pretty oversaturated. There's a bunch of streamers right now on League, and a lot of them are positive. Like they just are not the most popular like public-facing figures, like Tyler One or Dom in some cases. Like
okay, Raz.
Or Dom in some cases. Like I think a lot of the time it's pretty blanket. They'll say that statement about League, much like they'll say
Some
that statement
cases.
about Valorant.
Some
or they'll
cases.
make that statement about any shooting game. But when you're actually in the community, or when you
How the fuck am I
are
not
more
positive? Fuck
attentive
you,
to
Raz.
A lot of the streamers, it's a lot
How am I
more
not positive?
Depending on
All right, I'm
region,
sending a
I
tweet to
think
Raz.
League of Legends already in South Korea is just going to be something that is always
There we go.
relevant to